Dante562, what's going on, guys? So yeah, I wanted to talk about this fight that just happened last night. Berto against Guerrero. Good victory, good win for Robert Guerrero. He's definitely proved that he's a welterweight. I said if he could win this fight, he would definitely, prove that he's a full-blown welterweight. And now he can call out whoever he wants to without looking like somewhat of a blown-up joke. But before I keep talking about Guerrero, I want to go back to what I was thinking after I watched the Broner versus DeMarco fight. It's interesting because this is what intrigued me the most leading up to the fight. Is I was wondering, is Berto going to try to go in there and try to fight the Ghost just like Broner fought DeMarco? Because the styles of Guerrero and DeMarco were a little similar. I mean, both Ghost Guerrero and DeMarco, they were both southpaws and they were both taller than their opponents, long arms, and they fought very similar. So like I said, I was really interested in seeing how Berto was going to come out and fight him. And as soon as the first round came out, you seen Berto doing that exact same Philly shell and doing it almost the same way Broner was doing it. It's funny because now we got people in a way almost trying to patent a style of Broner's. And I'm not saying, by the way, that Broner or Floyd Mayweather invented the Philly shell. I know that that's been out forever. But since these are the two fighters that have pretty much perfected it, this is what inspires other people to try to go out there and do it. And when I seen Andre Berto coming out, trying to do this Philly shell, he even had his mouth poked out, kind of like he was either Floyd or Broner, I don't know. But I sat there and I watched that and I said to myself, boy, oh boy, Andre Berto, he's a decent fighter, but he ain't no Broner. So him trying to do this Philly shell, I really hope he knows what he's doing because he can mess around and really get himself hurt trying to mimic this same style. Now don't get me wrong, Berto has used this style before, but he like I said, he wasn't effective with it. He may use it, but he's not effective with it. You've seen a lot of fighters use the style before, but they don't use it in a complete fashion that a Broner or a Floyd Mayweather uses it. I mean, I've seen Canelo use it. I've seen all different fighters use this style, but they don't use it to all of its abilities. Like rolling with it, throwing punches. Most fighters that aren't comfortable with using it like a Broner, they really only use it just for defense. They can't really just, pop out of nowhere with a punch like Broner or Floyd Mayweather does. So bottom line is, I think Berto, he made a mistake by coming out with that style if he wasn't really comfortable with it, number one. And number two, I got to give Ghost Guerrero a lot of credit because Ghost Guerrero, he made it an ugly wrestling type fight. And, I don't appreciate that style that much, but it worked for Guerrero. It worked for Guerrero. What Guerrero was basically doing is he would throw a left hand and then he would fall right into a clinch, therefore avoiding any of Berto's power punches, any of his speed, even though eventually he started getting caught with a lot of uppercuts in the inside. Guerrero, one more good thing about Guerrero, he has a terrific chin. Guerrero, he can take a punch. And to move up 2 divisions and take a punch that well, very impressive when it comes to Guerrero. I originally thought that Guerrero was going to go out there and pretty much fight similar to what, DeMarco did last week, which was stand his ground, maybe fighting the inside a little bit, but do it without holding, and trying to, smother the punches. So that's the only thing that really surprised me in this fight. Well, one more thing that surprised me is I thought Berto would be more aggressive because I talked about Berto. I talked about sometimes him trying to be too aggressive is his downfall. But Berto, it seemed to me, he was really focused on just trying to land one hard punch instead of trying to land a couple of hard punches like he usually does. It seemed that Berto was mainly trying to land his right hand, which he seldomly landed in the entire fight. Then, Berto would lay on the ropes, or I should say sometimes he would lay on the ropes, but most of the time, Guerrero would clinch up with him, and Guerrero would push him to the ropes. But what I didn't understand is why Berto would just allow himself to stay on the ropes. And Guerrero was pummeling Berto on the ropes. And it's weird how, as much experience as Berto has, he didn't seem like he knew what to do when he was on the ropes. He would lean back and with his hands down, leaving himself wide open, and he was just getting smashed on the ropes. So, overall, you got to give credit to Guerrero for that. Berto is just not a complete fighter. He's never been. He's always been explosive. He's always came out of nowhere with impressive speed and power. But defense, man. Defense is what I've always been saying. To me, that's the number one attribute that you need. And Berto showed that he had a tremendous lack of defense. Okay? Guerrero, he had a better defense than Berto did. As far as I'm concerned, even though Guerrero doesn't have the best defense either, he does have a great chin. But like I said, if someone were hitting him continuously over and over, breaking him down, it doesn't really matter how good your chin is. And Berto, he didn't have those skills to break down the Ghost. So anyway, the Ghost, he comes off with a great win for his career, and we'll see what happens. I said before that I could see Floyd Mayweather possibly picking this as his comeback fight, but I don't know. We just have to see. Floyd Mayweather, he still hasn't broken his silence yet. So we'll just see what happens. All right, y'all. I'm on to the next one.